And let's go. Welcome back, everybody, to a wonderful edition of Prop Stars. My boy TJ over there. I'm Buff, your host right now. We got some wonderful things to cover that happened. It was a crazy game in the World Series last night, actually tied for the longest in history. We had a Survivor massacre. Survivor is definitely heating up, and it was a very fair amount of people that were knocked out. We got NFL games to break down. There's going to be fantasy studs, duds, and we're going to talk some. We're going to talk some power rankings and what some of the better teams are doing in the NFL. TJ, 3 a.m. Freddie Freeman hits a walk-off. Not only does he hit a walk-off, he becomes the first player in history to have 2 walk-off home runs in the World Series. If anyone forgets, last year he hits a walk-off grand slam, game 1 in 2024 World Series, to kick that one off. So again, one of my favorite players ever, number 5, Freddie Freeman, the former Brave. He cried when he left the Braves. I cried when he left the Braves. He's in LA. He's winning rings. I could wish nothing better for the guy, and to do it on the stage that he did and to outperform, not really outperform, because maybe overshadow slightly of what Shohei Ohtani did. It was just an unbelievable game. And like I will say, the Blue Jays are in this series. They've been playing unbelievably good, right? All right, go ahead. Talk to me about the game last night, TJ.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, is this the greatest game of all time? Is it? It was really fun to watch because there wasn't the scoring shut down because you have these bullpen guys coming in for 1, 2, 3, or 4 innings, throwing 98, 100 miles per hour. We saw some of the best defensive plays I can ever remember in the outfield when it comes to throws, hitting your relay. It was a lot of fun to watch. And then Ohtani goes up the plate 9 times and reaches base all 9 times. 4 for 4, 5 walks, 4 intentional. I mean, it's not even close to what
2
he's
homers,
doing.
2 doubles,
2 home runs. And it capped off with, Freddie Freeman. His story's well documented. Great guy, great father. His son's gone through some stuff. And, it's hard not to root for the guy. And as Yankee fans, we talked about it last year where we thought we could have beat the Dodgers. And Freeman kind of shut that down game 1, right? But when Yankee fans talk about the World Series last year, it was Freddie Freeman doing that walk-off grand slam, pretty much a walk-off, or it was a walk-off grand slam.
It was a walk-off.
And then, the Yankees blowing that lead, where those were 2 games that we thought we could have won, and we didn't. We lost the World Series. I have a feeling the Blue Jays might be sharing that same sentiment where just Freddie Freeman. And I want to say that Freddie Freeman in like the 15th or 16th inning hit a bomb to dead center field. And literally the outfielder just backed up and like caught it against the center fielder, caught it. And then Will Smith did the same thing. I think it's the best game I've ever watched. It was just so.
No, go ahead.
Go. No, it was just so intense. And the defensive plays. And when you just watch these pitchers coming in, and I could be honest with you, watching Clayton Kershaw get that out, I've never rooted for a guy so hard. Because think about this. There is a very good chance that is the last pitch he'll ever throw in a major league uniform, right? He is hands down a first ballot Hall of Famer. But it has been well documented that he has not been a great postseason pitcher. Now, if he goes out there and walks a runner in or gives up a hit on his last, which would have lost the game probably too, most likely. It's just unbelievable, and I'm so happy for him that he was able to get that out.
That was the hitter did
bail him out a little bit.
Yeah, that was bases loaded. He comes in. Now, you mentioned there was a lot of pitchers. They had 19 different pitchers last night.
Yeah.
Kershaw,
it was interesting for sure. Yep. I just felt so happy for him. If he walks that guy, and the batter bailed him out a little bit. I mean, there was 2 pitches that were clearly balls that the batter swung at. And that last pitch too, which I'm looking on ESPN, I'm hoping they're about to show it, but it was an off-speed pitch. And Kershaw just like kind of whipped it across home plate, came like below knee high, outside, and the hitter, thank goodness, swung. But yeah, that's Kershaw, obviously. Very deceptive. I was just so happy he got that out because that literally, I think, would have followed him. And I truly think he would have had many sleepless nights if he would have gave up that hit and lost the game for his team there.
Yeah, but he doesn't, and that's one of
He
the
doesn't.
that's one of the performances that we can say that he can hang his hat on, and if that is his last sighting, outing, performance in a uniform, that'll be, rather sweet if the Dodgers can pull this World Series off.
I love when they were yeah, I mean, Johnny T, it's close. I just think it's also 22 years ago. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. There's a couple games, but I don't know, just like all the defensive plays and like the intensity, every play gets magnified. Every play is hard. Like we saw it with the Yankees, right? Jazz Chisholm, muffed the double play ball, and that really could have decided our future of this year. It's just every play matters. Every player stepped up, and it was fun to watch. I like how when they interviewed the Blue Jays manager after the game, and they go, "You walked Ohtani pretty much 5 times in a row intentionally, right?" The reporter asked, "Is this going to be something that you do throughout the series because of how hot he's been?" He had a one-word answer: "Yes." Didn't explain it. Didn't say, "Oh, well, it's going to be a situational thing."
No.
Are you going to pitch around Ohtani because he is that good? Yes. I thought that was kind of cool. It was like a real moment. He didn't sugarcoat it. He's probably pissed off he lost. But as a manager, winning and losing there, I still think you have to appreciate the moment and appreciate that we are watching maybe the greatest athlete in history of sports rise up to the highest level on the highest stage. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think,
Yeah.
It's pretty magical. And I was wondering, one cool stat too. When I was watching the game, they had 290 baseballs prepared for that game, and they almost had to get more baseballs. Like they think of worst case scenario, they had 290 balls. I think they usually go through like 100, and it was literally they were at like 225 in like the 13th or 14th inning or something. So they were kind of getting to that point where, you know how it is. Every time a ball hits the dirt, I hate it. It drives me nuts. But a ball hits the dirt.
You see him look at it, hand it to him, new ball,
I'm like,
blah, blah, blah.
Talk about waste. And I'm sure those baseballs get reused in batting practice, but Jesus, like, come on, a ball hits the dirt, you got to get a new ball. That's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying. No, it was an unbelievable game. I think the Jays have shown they can hang with them. It's about making the plays at the right time. The tough thing is the series is 2-3-2. So the fact that you win one, you let one go, and then you let one go. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I feel that it's an opportunity that they're feeling on the wrong side, and there's still 2 more games in LA before you can even go back to Toronto.
And it's crazy they play tonight, which is insane.
And
right?
Ohtani is the pitcher. There was an interview with Ohtani. They're like, so after this amazing game, are you're pitching tomorrow? How do you feel? He's like, I got to go to bed. You know what I mean? He's like, I got to go to bed right now. And how long?
I know it sounds crazy, but if you're MLB, do you like maybe just say, you know what, we can't control everything. This was one of the best games in history. Let's back it up an hour or even
like
2 hours, right? I know that like it affects the Eastern time zone. I mean, I would love it because I get to go to work and then get home and watch the game.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But, I'm watching Barbie just gets off work, so I'm watching the game with her right at the end, and she's like, "What if this game keeps going?" I go, "That it's the playoffs; they will go until." And I was making jokes that we might be able to be watching it live during our podcast, because that's how crazy it was. But Ohtani gets the ball tonight, and I think that he's going to get pushed. You know what I mean? Ohtani's going to be like, we're giving you the ball, 100 pitches. Get out there and see what you got.
Yeah. Yep. I absolutely agree. It's all on Toronto, man. You got to make it a series. It's just so crazy because every time I'm looking at the Dodgers lineup, like we're so familiar with all their players. And they're all just studs, and they're so good, and they're literally solidified. All of them are solidified in one way or another, right? And every time you see the Blue Jays, you see a few guys, And then, there's this one guy, Schneider, who I know, and we play fantasy baseball, so we actually know some of the more obscure players.
Yeah.
But to see these guys coming up to the plate in the biggest game of their entire life, and they haven't done shit all year, you know what I mean? And like you're batting, 150, you're like in this moment, you're like got a chance to be a hero, vindicate, make a name, whatever it is. It's just wild the disparity between the two teams when it comes to roster talent,
Oh, yeah. No, you really saw it. No, that's a good point. You're watching the Blue Jays because they did a lot of pinch runners, pinch fielders. George Springer got hurt. Yeah,
bro, that's a huge injury for them, man. That's bad news.
And also,
Springer has been an engine for
They pinch ran for Kirk because obviously he got on. Kirk has been maybe the Blue Jays MVP next to Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of every time I saw Kirk's spot in the lineup come up and he wasn't hitting, you kind of felt like, man, the Blue Jays sure wish they could have had that one back, right?
Yeah.
And because they couldn't, I mean, I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Yeah. They went 11 innings without scoring a run,
Yeah.
So both teams pretty much until Freeman.
Well, that's going to be an exciting
awesome to
thing.
watch.
So, oh, go ahead. What were you saying? What else?
No, just great. It was just great to watch. It was just a great game to watch. It was exciting. And that's kind of what baseball's all about. It's like when you watch hockey, you know what I mean? And like baseball, we just see it so much where, it's regular season. How much does it really matter? But then you really start appreciating the details when it comes to a game like that. And you could arguably say most likely that game will decide the series, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If Toronto ends up going up 2-1, total different scenario, with Ohtani hitting the mound and whatnot. Now
a lot of respect to the Blue Jays. A lot of respect because I said, it'll be 4-1, and even if it does go 4-1, or I said 4-0, 4-1, I just thought that the Blue Jays pitching wouldn't be able to keep up. But they're fighting, man. They're fighting like it's in the USA, Canada, with all the politics and all that stuff going on. Even though every Canadian I meet's amazing and they come into Boathouse, it's great, right?
Oh,
but
so
it's
crazy,
like,
man.
Yeah,
so crazy.
But it's just one of those
tip 20%
things where
Canada. Learn how to not just tip 20%, but learn how to tip the bill and like be generous beyond that. Anyways, let's talk about the massacre, the week that everybody was waiting for in Survivor. There's a lot of people still around. There's a lot of favorites. There's a few upsets that happened throughout the season. Nothing too crazy. Most people dodging it. And then the 2-week pick comes in. And everyone has these options. You have injuries kind of playing roles into certain scenarios in games. And it was an absolute slaughter this week. How many picks were knocked out?
Survivor Pool Massacre. I'm pulling it up right next to make sure I'm accurate.
Like 60 or 70 people.
It was 76 players. A total of 110 players have been officially eliminated. That was overall. We're down to 34 people.
34 players.
60. Yeah.
Wow.
64% of the pool got knocked out.
That's
and
unreal.
It was, I will say this. I think my dad was on the wrong end of it. That Bengals collapse might be the demise of that head coach. What's his name again?
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor. You just can't give up 39 points to the New York Jets and to do
without
it at
a Garrett
home.
Wilson. They had no Garrett Wilson, and they let Brees. And I get it. Like, you knew Cincinnati didn't have a defense, but
59 got knocked out. Yeah, it's just crazy.
And you also know that the Jets are on the road, and they had their starting quarterback get injured. I know, Johnny T, the Bengals by 1 point. That's why in my other pick, Johnny T, I was very well advised by you to avoid them. So I am in the Survivor pool, sir. You could not get rid of me. I am still in. It was a hell of a game, though. And you know that I was watching it, thinking of your cousin Johnny, and I'm just sitting there looking at Joe Flacco and the Bengals. They had more than enough opportunities. Higgins gets out. Chase Brown's a stud. Jamar Chase does his thing. I felt like it's just watching like the Cowboys AFC version. There's no defense for that team. They have a dynamic offense, and it just bit him in the ass, man, 100%. And it ruined.
Yeah, and he's going to cook up Yeah, he's going to cook up a revival pool too. And if you're interested, you can message us on Instagram. We get you the details on that. We're talking about the Bengals, but they weren't the number one upset of the day, right?
It was not.
It was the Dolphins came into
Over
Atlanta.
the Falcons.
And the Falcons, who, they say, I agree, have a top 5 rushing offense.
So
and
there
the
was
Dolphins
no Drake London.
Locked them up.
They had
Drake
Kirk
London.
Cousins.
Yep.
Right. And so
I'm
these
shocked.
are mitigating factors where I wanted to actually get off of Atlanta
huge.
for other reasons that I don't really need to go into in front of everybody else. I couldn't have access to my phone for whatever, and I couldn't change my pick. Even if I would have changed Atlanta, I still would have made my bet with Bengals and I would have lost on that one. But Atlanta was the premium disappointment of the week. They were at home in a spot against a team that everyone called dead, that everyone's calling for their manager or their coach, Mike McDaniels, right? And you have the front office in question of decision-making, and then they just come out and absolutely trounce it. Tua is one of our fantasy studs for the week. Ball's out of control. You called that right here. It's a great call. He threw 4 tutties. Did he even throw 300 yards? I don't think so, right? Or did he?
Yeah, and what we were calling was, I just was like, indoors. The Dolphins' offense hasn't looked that bad. It's been more McDaniel's kind of getting a little. I'll tell you what, if he gets fired, he's going to get hired the day he gets fired as an offensive coordinator, because that offense hasn't looked that bad, and it's been mainly Tua being really bad. The Cleveland game was 40-mile-per-hour winds and it was raining, so dismiss that. Right. But the Dolphins are literally in a spot where they could have, we've said this over and over, they could have beat the Bills. They went into Atlanta, an Atlanta team who just beat the snot out of Buffalo, right, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And just went into Atlanta. But I was shocked because, our survivor pool is big enough where 43% of the people picked the Falcons, right? I was shocked at that. And you could look and see our survivor pool is big enough. That means I bet you around 40-50% of all survivor pools had Atlanta. And I get it. You don't just try to win a week. You got to try to win the whole thing. And most people are probably thinking, if I'm ever going to pick Atlanta, you got to pick them now, right? Because I know this year I've done a little bit of a different strategy. Usually I've yet to win a survivor. They're hard to win, but I usually go way ahead in advance, right? And try to map it out. I'm looking 3 to 4 weeks in advance now and trying to do a little different. Right?
Yeah, I'm playing like a close-knit bubble,
Yeah, I'm not. And it's probably going to bite me in the ass, right? But the only way this works for me is if stuff like this happens, right?
Right.
But I was still surprised at 43% of our pool. You're picking a team that doesn't have, Bijan's their number one option. We get that. But a quarterback and don't have the number one receiver, I don't know. I thought Cincinnati would be number one. And then I thought the Colts. Then I thought the Patriots. Then I thought the Eagles. Then I thought
had
the
Colts, Eagles in the ones that I made it by, right? It was 2 games. I knew that the Eagles were going to win again. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Cam Scatterboot injury, and just it's devastating to see something like that. Saquon obviously had a good week, and other survivors, other weeks. This is a big week coming up. I know we're going to talk about a preview. I'm already looking at either the LA teams, the Chargers or the Rams. Both look like solid picks going forward, and it's a single pick week this week. So I'm sure that out of the 34, I think we know about 5 of us. Maybe we know 6 of us out of there. So it's, we got a nice little decent percentage of people that we know in the pool.
Yeah. I feel fortunate enough to still have my 2 entries in. I use my buybacks real early on just ridiculous games, right? But I do feel like I am leaning heavily towards home teams, and I am ignoring that percentage button they put on the bottom of the team most likely to win, because I guarantee that percentage sucked a lot of people in the Falcons, and that percentage might not have dictated, might not have been taken into account the Drake London and Penix, because
completely
at the time those guys were questionable. But yeah, that's a survivor pool wrap up. I feel like it's going to get real interesting. And this is at a point where there's 34 people left, right? There's going to be every year, there's always, and it's usually in the 2-pick weeks, there's those 1 or 2 games that are so obvious, right? And when you have this many people left now, you could take that chance and not pick. That you see what I'm trying to say?
Oh,
So
yeah.
if the Packers are at home versus the Jets or whatever, right? And you could fade the Packers knowing that 90% of the pool
Are going to take
might
them.
be on the Packers, and you can literally knock out almost a whole survivor pool and you could sweep it up. We haven't really seen that yet with Johnny T's survivor pool, but I think it's going to come maybe this year where everyone's going to be on one thing and it just cleans out the whole pool.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Cam Scatterboo injury. I'm still like sleepless over it. Yeah, I have him on my fantasy team. I don't really care about that. But like the Giants, think about if you're like the GM and you're Dayball and you're the owner. You do all this research, right? And you evaluate and you evaluate and you evaluate. And you're wrong sometimes. You shouldn't be wrong. And then you finally hit a home run, not only as a locker room leader and presence, but on the field. The guy could do everything: block, catch, run, break tackles, great short yardage back. And he caught a touchdown that game on a wheel route where he like shook the linebacker on the route, and Dart made a great throw. And just to watch the way his ankle, like it looked like his foot was almost about to be off his body. That's how bad it was.
Dislocated.
And the guy still, I couldn't believe how tough he was, because like I would be going through seizures on the ground like how Jason Tatum did. But he was just like, but when you saw the offensive lineman for the Giants jumping up and down and you saw how affected Jackson Dart is, I'm still sick over it. And I have not a weird feeling. I have a feeling he won't play next year either. I heard the surgery went good. And if anyone, I barely know the guy. And I was on record preseason saying, I don't think he's the savior like people are saying. But I have a feeling he won't be back next year either. I don't know. And you just wonder if he's ever going to be the same. It's just a dagger. Now, we still have Dart. We still have hope. I think Tyrone Tracy will come in and be okay. It hurts.
Changes the
It
whole
hurts
dynamic of the
fan.
Giants offense. It changes the whole dynamic of the way you approach teams' schedule. We were just talking about Survivor. Obviously, Giants are going to be a team that people are going to pick against now, as you lost your number one running back, you lost your number one receiver. You still have, Wendell Robinson and other pieces in these tight ends and Jackson Dart, and you're still going to be a formidable opponent. I think you obviously have fight in you, and I think that what we're seeing is that you were better than everybody thought, and you just down some really big pieces, and it's just going to be hard to overcome. You know what I mean? Like if you were 100% healthy, you guys would actually be a problem.
So Johnny T, I hope you're right. We did a little research before the show, and I kind of heard the same thing, that the surgery went great, and I hope you're right. I hope he can be back next year, and I hope he's in training camp. There's no doubt they'll be working hard. No one's going to outwork that guy, but it just must be tough for the front office to you couldn't have nailed a 4th round pick better than what you did. Like you literally, all your evaluation, everything worked out. He fell into your lap, and that has to happen. It's disgusting too, and I'm going to bring this up. Did you see the Jalen Hurts tush push fumble? And Johnny, I really want you to process this with me. Buff, you were on the golf course. Right. Jalen Hurts does a QB tush push on 4th down and leans over. He's getting stopped. Leans over to put it over. We hit the ball out. We get the ball, right? They said that this forward progress was stopped. And you know me, I'm a fan of the tush push. I think he should be allowed. It was the worst call I've ever seen. Everyone, ESPN led with it yesterday. Dan Orlovsky was flipping out over it. It was the worst thing you could ever do. And you know what? This could be the play that bans the tush push, because he literally got stopped, reached over, we hit the ball out, we grabbed it, and a ref came in and blew the whistle dead. It was insane. But if it was in the end zone, it was different. But he was reaching over the 1st down marker. You see what I'm trying to say?
Oh, 100%.
And wait till you see it.
It didn't cross the plane to where the play automatically stops. Just because
exactly, yeah, it was a first progress.
Down. He got the first down. Been blown. Yep. The ball's out. The ball is live. You're absolutely allowed to knock it out.
He got the first down, and then we hit the ball out. Great play. He took a chance. We all know when you reach over, we've seen quarterbacks do it before. But Johnny T, follow me through this. If the refs make that stop, if the refs give us the ball, which they should have, it's the butterfly effect, right? Scadaboo doesn't break his ankle, right? I mean, that's a fact of life because everything would have changed. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, 100%. Everything
The
changed.
way Scadaboo broke his ankle is one of the flukiest ways you can ever break your ankle. He just caught it, and the guy just made like a good tackle, a normal tackle. It was a normal play. But if they give us that fumble with the butterfly, I'm not Nostradamus here, but with the butterfly effect, I'm doing butterfly signals, he wouldn't have. He was either stopped short of first down or he was across and fumbled. Well, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but he was. Exactly right. He got the first down, and then we hit it away. He took a chance, he lost, but now we would have got the ball back. Maybe we win the game, even if that's crazy or not. But then also, Scadaboo would not have broke his ankle, and it really freaking irritates me when you start thinking about that. You're talking about if this, if that, and you're talking about hypotheticals. But there's no way Cam Scadaboo breaks his ankle. There's just no way.
I completely agree, man. And I know that was a
It's
tough
fucking
one
sickening.
to lose, and obviously you had just beaten the Eagles a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? So just
And then Jackson Dart also threw like a 50 or 60-yard bomb to Slayton touchdown that got called back for offensive pass interference, which was also really highly questionable. Now, look, I said it last week as Giant fan. Yeah, okay, I was going to talk about this too, Tyson. The hip drop tackles
was it a hip drop tackle that Scadaboo hurt his ankle?
It was. It wasn't as egregious, but yeah, it was one of those where the defender is using weight to leverage, right? And it gets ugly. And that's going to be the next. That's, yeah. But the problem is that Cam Scadaboo is so hard to bring down. Now, the one he caught.
Derrick Henry and all these other players.
Yeah, I know. And the ball that Cam Scadaboo caught, it didn't have to be a hard tackle like that. It didn't have to be a hip drop because he was going to go down. He had caught it. It was like a curl. It was like a stop route, right? It wasn't anything crazy. But the hip drop will be the next thing over the offseason. We cannot just – people are breaking legs, like literally breaking legs in half. And I remember it was Julian Edelman said this a long time ago. He goes, it's a double-edged sword. We don't want to get concussions, but now defenders are trying to get more creative, which I don't blame them, to make tackles, right? So you can't go for the head. You can't do this. You can't do that. And now we see people's knees getting destroyed. I don't want these guys to be mental midgets at 45 years old. But there is just it's a double-edged sword.
A lot of hits and a lot of upper body and everything was just like, oh, and layouts and thumps and everyone's legs were okay. Now nobody can hit up top. So now everyone's lower body is done. And the evolution of the game is going lower and lower. It's ebbs and flows. You make a move to stop this, and then everybody evolves to this. You make a move to stop that, and then they're going to evolve to some other way. I mean, soon, I don't know how we're going to do it. If you can't hit them up top, and it's got to be the shoulder, it can't be the head, and you can't hip drop them. And then they're going to say you can't, like there's already no clipping. You got to watch out with the way that you're blocking with knees. And then, like, are you going to be able to wrap them up with ankles? I don't know. It's going to be called an illegal lasso. I'm not sure. It just seems like no matter what they're going to do, there's going to be some sort of issue, and then they're going to have to continue to make a move on that. It feels
it's also
a physical game. It's a visceral game, dude. There's going to be injuries. Obviously, we want to protect them, but how much can you protect them? And other than giving them a fucking flag and saying now there's no more tackle.
It's scary. We're just seeing players get this, like literally we're getting players getting destroyed. I know it's a turn to flag football. And I have noticed over the years, the safety's technique is getting a lot better. Like they'll lead with the helmet, but they're not spearing. I mean, it's impossible to lead with your head, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
but I do notice a lot of times
dropping that shoulder into the hit. And not only that, but you see the way that safeties are even doing it. They even kind of pull their head away just so it doesn't look like they are spearing. It's like a whole technique. You see them like kind of, and that's not good for you.
It's hard enough to play football, right? And I know Tyson, they've all talked about the uninformed fan too. It's just like, can you imagine being a corner or safety? That's why I do like how I am, even though I just bitched about a pass interference, I do see the refs at least letting the DBs play with the guy receivers a little more. You could touch him, you can hit him, you can be a little more physical before the ball gets there. Yeah, you got to give them a little leeway when it comes to pass interference. Honestly, I have always said this. If you're defensive pass interferencing somebody, a lot of times you did great coverage. I'm not talking about like on a sluggo if you fall for it, right? But let's say somebody runs a quick slant and you get to the guy just before the ball gets there and you hit the guy. I don't think that should be pass interference because, yeah, it's bang, bang, but you read the play. You beat the guy to the mark. But just because you hit the receiver a millisecond before the ball gets there, that shouldn't be pass interference, right? Because you
Yeah, I
beat
can
the
agree
guy
with
to
that.
the spot.
Yeah, especially
It's
if you
just
read
one
the
of those.
play, like you're disrupting the play, and
Yeah,
that's what you're allowed to do. So it doesn't make any sense for
exactly.
me.
Now, guess what? If you run a slow go and I'm a corner and I fall
Right,
for
and
it and
you
I
fall for it.
clothesline you,
Yeah.
then, yeah, that's a pass interference,
Or you
obviously,
hold their
right?
jersey or whatever, yeah, you sit there
There
and
was a
call that all
guy.
day.
It was a game. It was. Oh yeah, it was a Dolphins game. Waddle runs a down and out, right? Runs a down and out that way, and the corner was on him so hard. He read it so perfectly that he was running into Waddle's back. So what he had to do is put his hand on him a little bit, barely touch it, because they were going to tangle feet,
Yeah.
and they called pass interference for that. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
And like it was and Waddle got up. And Waddle dropped it. Tua actually put it in the perfect spot like this.
Yeah, like
And
right out
Waddle
in front.
dropped it. Yep. And Waddle got up and was like mad at himself that he dropped it. And the ref threw the flag. And Waddle was like confused. He was like, wait, what? And it was pass interference. But we're getting off subject here, but it was like such great coverage that and these corners and safeties and defenders have to be so creative before the ball gets there because of there's so many penalized calls. But the hit drop tackle will be a topic in the offseason. Scatterboo will be one of the prime examples of that. And you just don't want to see guys break their leg like that. It's
That's
just
so
like,
tragic,
ugh.
man. It really is bad. Breaking down the games, you want to go down the list? You want to talk Vikings Chargers?
Yeah, let's start it. Yeah, let's start it right at the top.
Gadsden and Vidal came through. Chargers
Yeah.
roll, right?
Yeah, I mean the Vikings
Wire
are who we
Darling
thought they
comes
were.
right in and gets work, man. Gadsden's the truth. If you got him, you should have started him.
Yep, Carson Wentz is out for the year. McCarthy's coming back, so I don't really know how much it affects that. But Wentz was struggling in that offense. We talked about it last week. They got some wins, but they were struggling. I say it again and again. They miss Sam Darnold, even though they freed up some money and they were able to pay other guys. Vikings have all the talent in the world, and they got to see if McCarthy can turn it around. I don't think he can, but I do wonder, though. He had one good quarter versus the Bears, and he struggled immensely. He got to sit on the sidelines. That 1 month sidelines could really help him in
Bryce
development,
Young
right?
grew from it last year whenever he was benched
Exactly.
and came back out. So there is definitely
Chargers
the
are
whole learning.
Chargers are a little bit Jekyll and Hyde, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're 5-3.
Yeah.
They were the number one team in the NFL, and the Giants whooped them, right?
I feel like they're
and
home
then they
bias,
spiraled
right?
out of control.
I feel like they're home biased a little bit. You definitely want to kind of bet them in a home.
But why is that? Because Harbaugh's a pound it kind of guy.
Is
but
it
looks
the
like
good weather? Is it the comfort and the confines? I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. But you could always tell whenever teams play good on the road, it's because I feel like it's a good locker room and everyone's tight and they're on the same page and it's like cohesion.
Yeah.
And whenever they're not playing on the road, I feel it's because it's a little bit, I don't know, like they're more for themselves and it's more individual. I just feel like it's this whole feeling when you see a team galvanize on the road and really come together against the crowd noise, the team, nothing can shake them, right? And then you see other teams like the Chargers, they went into New York and got their ass whooped.
Yep.
Wasn't
and
that
I
in
can
New
be honest
York?
with you, though, after it was in New York. And after saying all this, it will not be surprising if the Chargers are in the Super Bowl.
No.
You have a great coach. You have a great quarterback. You might have the most, when Omarion Hampton gets back, you might have the best offensive weapons in all of the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kamani Vidal
you have
proved
Hampton,
being,
Vidal,
a
Gadsden.
Piece, Gadsden's true.
You have Gadsden's
Keenan
awesome.
Allen.
He's going to be a top 5 tight end. Keenan Allen, McConkey. I mean, that team is loaded. That's going to be a team that I think is going to be great. But yeah, the Chargers took care of business. I don't think that. I think the Vikings are lost.
flirting with taking Chargers maybe next week a little bit. They're on the road at the Titans. So it's like, it's like close, but I don't know. We'll see what it looks like.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
his last year?
Johnny
Saquon
T's
MVP
asking
year.
about the MVP. I don't think Daniel Jones was going to win the regular season MVP. And John, I don't even know if the Giants coaching staff sucks. I mean, we saw Daniel Jones fall apart in front of our eyes, right? We saw him for some reason. I think Daniel Jones is like a systematic guy. You know what I mean? I think Dayball, Jackson Dart and Dayball are perfect for each other. Daniel Jones seems like he's a little more of a cerebral guy. And yeah, exactly, Rob. Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor is the leader of that team. And the way he's running right now, every time he touches the ball, it looks like he's getting shot out of a cannon. But back to what Johnny T says, it seems like the NFL always wants to put that quarterback as the MVP. Jonathan Taylor was 60-1 to start the season as MVP. So I actually know someone that got it at 60-1 and is hoping to cash that in. But yeah, I think that the Colts are scary. We'll go down to we'll break down some power rankings soon. Let's go to what was the next game that we had?
Was it Jets Bengals?
Jets Bengals. We talked about it a little bit. Bengals had a 2-touchdown lead. They were up almost the whole game, and the lowly Justin Fields, right?
Yep.
Has
After a
pretty
week
good game.
of drama too, right? Aaron Glenn, I don't know who to do. I'm gonna go consult people. I need advice. Okay, we're starting Tyrod. Oh no, I can't start Tyrod. He's injured. Okay, Justin, we believe in you. Get out of here with that rhetoric, dude. It's just so bad. And then for the locker room to celebrate the win with Aaron Glenn, and you see this whole, it's their first win, his first head coaching win. I thought it was such a sham. I'm like, your win is built on, I don't know. I just thought on a varsity of coaching. I don't like the way that they went through it, the way they're handling the situations. Obviously, I don't like the office. I don't like the situation. And I thought to celebrate the win like that, I'm like, I guess you got to celebrate your first win as a head coach with your team. But I also thought I was like, it's the Bengals and they don't have, their start. But whatever. That's just the way I felt about it. I thought, and I'm a little salty because they beat the Bengals, obviously, as Survivor. But I just didn't.
Yeah, you're salty about it. And honestly,
through all of it, that's all.
Remember what I told you when not just me, but a lot of people, the Ravens are going to come back and probably win that division.
Sure, yeah.
And they obviously didn't play Lamar Jackson this week, knowing it was a Thursday game. Lamar is already playing. They've said it. But the reason why I bring that up is look at the way that division's starting to – the Steelers are coming crashing down to earth, which is unfortunate. They just can't stop anybody. So I picked the Steelers to maybe win that division. But I assumed they had a top defense.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm sure Certified Rob feels the same way. Don't even worry about chiming in, Rob. We feel bad for you. No, yeah, you're definitely right about that. I think that the Jets are, they're going to be fighting for a couple of wins in the first pick. The Bengals really let one go. They had a chance to go 4-4, like you said, in that game, and to kind of, mitigate what's going on and right the ship and maybe hold down a spot until Joe Burrow gets back. Now that looks a lot tougher because they look a lot like the Cowboys. They just can't stop anybody.
Let's go to the Bears. Really let's go to the Bears Ravens.
Derrick Henry. You had Snoop Huntley go out there, do his thing. Wasn't too crazy. Was this a story of the Ravens, playing like ugly, systematic football and handling business? Or is this the stories of the Bears with a real opportunity to go show a chance to grow and impress and beat a Ravens team? I mean, this is the same team that CJ Stroud, and don't get me wrong, we'll talk about the Texas in a minute. He's hot right now. They went in and demolished them. Right.
I can't figure it out. I can't figure out the NFL.
They held him to 3 points. They whooped him. CJ Stroud got off. And I was thinking that maybe Caleb in this Ben Johnson offense could go out there and look a little bit better, right? And give it a game, make it close. It was a little bit of a game through, but I was really disappointed with the performance of the Bears. I just thought that they were definitely going in the forward direction. This looks like a step back.
Yeah, I think that the Bears have gotten real lucky on some wins, and this could have been one of those games before Lamar Jackson comes back. But the Bears aren't there yet, but I think Caleb Williams is still growing, and you almost just got to treat Caleb Williams as a rookie this year, right? Because last year was such a disaster. And
his
just got to treat him as a rookie. It
Like
wasn't
Rome
awesome. It
did
wasn't
good,
awful.
right? Like
Yeah.
Rome did good. He threw 285. Like DJ Moore got 4 for 73. Like they actually had some okay numbers. They couldn't get the ball on the ground going. Just disappointing, man. And obviously, like the Ravens
And they
defense has
couldn't
been so
stop the run. They
suspect.
couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't stop the run either. Ravens are getting healthy. Huntley went in there. We've all been yelling for Huntley. He knows this offense. He's mobile enough to run this offense. He's the closest thing you have towards Lamar Jackson. But yeah, I agree. Tough game. They're not firing Aaron. Yeah, but see, they're not firing Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's got 3 years to prove himself. I wasn't a big fan of the hire, but and you definitely don't want Tomlin to go into the Jets. That would be a disaster. But anyways, and Harbaugh, I would think the Ravens would be real dumb to let go of Harbaugh. You know,
They're
I
not
think
letting go of Harbaugh, dude. Harbaugh's
yeah,
gonna be fine.
Ravens are going to
He's
figure
got
this
Lamar,
out.
They're doing it.
Most likely, the Ravens beat the Dolphins. That's going to be real interesting, right? It's in Miami. Dolphins just had their biggest win of the year. Dolphins have hung with some of the best teams in football. That game's going to be sneaky interesting.
You remember a couple years ago they played the opening game of the season, I think. Ravens Miami.
Yes.
And it was fireworks. It was Tua versus Lamar down to the wire, touchdown after touchdown. It was a high scoring game. I want to say
I know when they did
40s.
play. Yeah, that wasn't. I don't know if that was an opening day, but yeah, I remember when they went.
Maybe it was week 2. It was early in the season.
Yeah, it was very early. It was very early.
Unbelievable.
It was very early. Yeah. Not much to say about that game. Dolphins, Falcons, we kind of already talked about it already. Dolphins went in there and curb stomped them. Falcons are mind-boggling, can't figure it out. Bills, Panthers, this was one we kind of called.
We'll tell you where we were wrong. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I thought Andy Dalton was going to be able to at least have a little bit more in garbage time. And don't get me wrong, like Tedero McMillan did okay. And Rico Dowdle is the answer on that backfield. It is not Chuba. Rico runs harder. He breaks more tackles. For whatever reason, he's just got more juice. They couldn't hang with them. Yeah, James Cook cooking. Josh Allen was doing his thing. They got Shakir involved. They were off a bye. I think I heard the stat McDermott's 9-0 off a bye. So I mean that dude's not losing, especially.
Yeah, that tells you something. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, what Tyson says here, I want to talk about this too. We're going to bounce around, but you watch the Bears' first drive or two. They look like they're unstoppable. Then they come kind of crashing back down to earth. If you watch a Monday Night Football game yesterday, the Commanders on their first drive were moving the ball so perfectly down the field. Like
they were
everything
running
was
with
open.
Balance.
Yep, everything was open, right? And then what happens? Mariota throws a perfect screen pass, Deebo Samuel, hits off Deebo's head, Chiefs intercept it, and now the Commanders' offense is lost the rest of the game. It's so bizarre to see that. It's like the same thing with the Bears, right? They come out the gates, they look hot. You're like, man, this team's unstoppable. And then at the end of the game, you're like, what happened? I don't get it. Like, what happened to?
I don't know. So it's like I'm asking.
Like the Bears' first two drive, and I watch it because I'm like, man, the Bears are moving the ball. And they settled for 2. I'm pretty sure they're real short field goals.
They abandoned the run. You got Montague and Swift. You got 2 nasty running backs. Swift's been hot. Montague runs through walls with his hair on fire, with chains on him, and you just don't feed the rock to him. Like I just don't get it, dude. Like,
and you know what? It hurts too, right? Because like both field goals for the Bears are real short, 30-yard field goals, right? And in the 30s. And now instead of being up 14-0 or at least 10-0, you're up 6-0.
Yep.
Now what happens? Ravens score a touchdown. Now you're dominating the game, but you're down 7-6. And I think that's when Ben Johnson, as a head coach, has to kind of learn, right? Because you're dominating, but maybe you panicked, right? And maybe just because you're down 7-6, maybe
changes. You start going like Tyson said. You put the offense in Caleb's hand. You abandon the run. It's tough, man. It's tough.
I'm going to look really quick on if they truly did. Yeah, they only had 23 carries compared to the Ravens 35, right? So they did abandon the run. And, the Bears have been a very good run team. So, yeah, but Josh Allen off a bye, McDermott off a bye, Panthers are not there. Panthers are a mess. They have 2 pretty good running backs. Yeah, they have two pretty good running backs in the backfield, but the Panthers are a disaster. They've had one good game, right? That was that game against the Falcons.
They beat the Cowboys.
And yeah, oh yeah, sure, they beat the Cowboys too.
Beat the Cowboys.
Where we were wrong, the Texans dominated the Niners.
Yep, I gave Jeff props for this on Uninformed Fans yesterday, and it was inexplicable to me the way that Shanahan wasn't able to get the pace of the game going. I felt like the Niners were just stuck in neutral. They couldn't get going. They were stagnant. There was no pop. There was no burst plays. There wasn't anything that was like traditional 49ers, like the way that they get the line moving and the ball just starts running. Like, I don't know, man. And I know they're getting healthy right now. I think Purdy's back this next week, right? And so I know they're going to get it right. I just thought this was a game that the Niners should have definitely been able to hang with the Texans. And as I
with no Nico,
no Nico was a big deal at the last moment, and Higgins got involved. And you have these running backs, Woody Marks, and he's going to be okay. And you got Chubb. It's just not like they should have beat the shit out of the Niners like they did. That's for sure, man. Niners just were lost.
Texans. I mean, this was CJ Stroud's best game by far of the year.
Yeah, 300 yards again.
He spread the ball around very nicely. He was really trending down for a while. Good to see him bounce back. But
I just want to read it over because he hit 300 yards. Xavier Hutchinson, Jalen Noel, who we knew was going to have a potential. I know he was all right. Woody Marks had a few catches. Braxton Berrios, Jaden Higgins had a few catches. Everyone I just talked about was 5-5, 4-5, and 4. So he was literally, without Nico, kind of like what you see Josh Allen do. Kind of like how you see some of these other quarterbacks do. If they don't have their big guy in there, they just start taking what's open.
Yeah,
right?
you start trying to feed
what the routes are showing you, what the defense is giving you, instead of trying to force it in, right?
And I do think Mac Jones is still okay, right? But I think that the Niners are ready for Brock Purdy. It was really surprising to see Christian McCaffrey get locked up, but the Texans defense is pretty good, so maybe it was not surprising. Let's keep on bouncing. Some games are used to talk about.
They only gave him 8 carries. How does C-Mac get 8 carries?
Well, yeah, you're down 2 possessions almost a whole game, and it's hard to give your guys carries. Yeah, it's hard to give your guy carries when you're first. Think about it. It's first and 10. You hand the ball off at 2nd and 12, right?
No,
the Niners had a lot of.
I mean, you're definitely not going to win if C-Mac gets 11 touches, bro. I don't know how you can expect that. Period.
Yeah, the Niners punted 5 times. They were locked up, man. They were locked up. Giants, Eagles, we talked about that. Eagles dominated. Saquon got hot. I really wanted to. We're working on our YouTube shorts and stuff like that, so we might be taking like a week off from that, try to figure something out. But I knew Saquon was going to have a big game. Why? Because Sirianni listens to the media, right? And all he's been hearing all week, he listened about the A.J. Brown thing. He fed A.J. Brown. Then he listened, Saquon isn't right. Saquon isn't right. Saquon isn't right. First play from scrimmage, 65 yards to the house. Now, Sirianni can't control that. But Sirianni was also throwing the ball to Saquon. I mean, they revolved the whole game plan around Saquon. And I don't think that was because they were playing the Giants as much as it was because the media has been very hard on the Saquon productivity, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so there was no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, they played the Vikings. He ran for 44 yards or whatever it was. And then you had Kamani Vidal just going, like ball out against the same defense. So, yeah, people were starting to question Saquon, including me. And I don't think it's that anybody thought that it's Saquon that's broken. I think that we all thought that it's the way that Eagles offense wants to run. And I think that they are so filthily rich with talent that they have to figure out what the defense is going to do and then pick and choose their battles. It's not like you have to sit there and go demonstrate how many cards you got every game. Sometimes you only need, in golf, you only need 3 clubs, 4 clubs for an entire round. You don't need to go through your whole bag. Like it doesn't
exactly. And that's just what they're
This was a Saquon call. They gave it to Saquon. Yep. It'll show you in the future whenever they need Saquon, he's there, right?
Yeah. One bright spot for the Giants was Brian Burns. He's been an absolute monster. I think he has 10 sacks on the year now. But he's a cornerstone of that defense. Giants have
He's
a
a
lot to
beast.
look forward to, especially if that Scadaboo surgery went good.
Next
It's
year
just
coming
crazy
in,
that
Jackson Dart, Neighbors, Scadaboo, that defense, you guys are
I
going
know.
to be
You just
projected
think
like
about
eight,
that,
nine
right?
wins, like easily.
Yeah.
Like,
You just think about how like that neighbors and Scadaboo were like our two guys that
and they're coming off injury.
change the team, and they're both season-ending injuries. Patriots destroyed the Browns. No surprise there. Patriots
So
were my survivor pick. I picked them in both of my entries. I felt most confident about that. Judkins. Let's talk about my fantasy team really quick too, right?
Judkins
Judkins
got a
and Cam
shoulder injury.
Scadaboo.
He's day to day right
Yeah.
now.
And I kept on saying, "Oh, both of my guys got hurt early," and then somebody said, "Oh, Judkins got hurt in the second half or something." Judkins got hurt, I'm pretty sure, on the first drive, and they kept him in the game because they were thinking he was okay. But Judkins, he's going to be fine. Thank goodness. They're coming off a bye week, but it just sucks when you're playing someone like Sean Munson. And it's one thing if your guy gets hurt in practice during the week, I could put somebody else in. But when you just watch your two horses, because Gibbs was on a bye week for me, and for my 1:00 games, my number 2 running backs which are, fantasy wise, top 10 running backs, fantasy points per game. And you just see them both go out, they both get hurt and they're both out of the game really early. You're just like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
But
there's nothing you
whatever.
could do about that. And Munson.
What'd you think about my trade? I traded Tyler Warren and Downs, 2 Colts, to Tyson, who has Daniel Jones. So he wanted to pair some of those guys up. Downs, I think he'll sprinkle in if he needs him for a bye week or injury. But Tyler Warren will be a starter. And I get Travis Etienne, and I'm trying to catch lightning in a bottle with DK or Dyke, DK, however you say his name, but DK, right? From the Gators,
exactly, for the
DIKE. I want to
Titans.
make sure people understand it's not DK Metcalf. The coaching staff, the
It's
new coaching staff.
DIKE.
Yep, the coaching staff loves him.
I
Cam
think you
Ward
should change your
loves
fantasy
him.
team name to Kicked Right in the DK.
Yeah. What'd you think about that play? Now, the reason why I traded away Tyler Warren was because I had Evan Ingram. Ingram is trending in the right direction. He actually caught a screen pass, which I love when my guys are catching screen passes because I know that they're getting targeted.
He did a lot of that in Jacksonville.
And he got tackled at the 1 yard line, which is crazy because I had him for the combo, right? But I get to move away from Tyler Warren. I get to put Evan Ingram there, which I might only be losing 5 points a game, right? Ish. And Ingram is trending upwards. And then I have ETN in our we have a double flex. So I can put ETN as my number 4 running back, right? Gibbs, Judkins, Tyrone Tracy, ETN. And then I was a little light at receiver. I think I upgraded. If when Ridley comes back, I'm hoping DK doesn't go way back.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade for you. I think you have the tight end position to get rid of. So you just sit there and make your bed with it. Overpaid on losing ETN. I think the ETN is where the whole this is everything depends on him, right? If he comes out and produces, then I think it's a good trade. And if they go to Tootin and they don't feed him, then it's kind of a problem. It's just tough though because the Jaguars haven't been running the ball of late like they did early. So maybe you're hoping they get back to it, right? And that's what I would be looking at. You're like, they got to get back to the run. They haven't been running the ball. They got to run, and they looked better, and they were winning. They were 4-2 actually when they were running the ball. So you have to get back to what you were doing well in the beginning of the season. And I think that he's going to be a still a half-point PPR league, and ETN gives you catches too because he's got hands.
Yeah.
So I think
the
that's
only
a little
problem
bit of an
with him,
advantage too.
Like obviously Tyson sold ETN. I'm buying low on him. Warren is a top 3 tight end, and if you're in a spot where you're not getting any productivity out of your tight end position, he takes you from like 2 points a game to 15 points a game right away. I mean, Tyler Warren is amazing. I hated getting rid of him.
He's a very integral part of that offense, period. He has a role. As Jonathan
I would
Taylor,
have never.
It's Warren, and it's like Pittman. You know what I mean? Like these are your main guys that you're going to, and you sprinkle in everybody else.
I would have never got rid of him if I didn't have Evan Ingram, and I'm just taking a chance at Evan Ingram because Ingram now is like kind of taking over he's a number one tight end there. He's a big part of that offense now, and I could see him being okay.
I kind of
ETN
feel like
hasn't broken 10 points in like 4 games. He's
I
like
know,
7.5,
and I know Tyson
6.2.
saying I
So
overpaid by losing. I don't think you overpaid, Tyson. You got rid of a volatile running
he
back
got the
who's going to
best
be
player.
8 games good, 8 games bad. I mean, you got to guess right, dude.
When you break the trade down, he got the best player in the trade and
Yeah.
maybe the worst player, right? I mean, I'm just saying maybe the worst player in Downs. Downs is a solid plug and play, but I'm hoping that ETN can get me 10 to 12 points a game ish, and maybe he has that one breakout like he
I
did
bet you
earlier
it's
in the
kind of
year.
weird. I bet you Downs and Jameson Williams aren't that far off in stats because Jameis had such a bad year, but they're kind of the same context where they're the deep
Yeah,
threat. They're the 4 or 5
yeah.
guys that catch a ball, but they also got Alec Pierce, which is going to take a little bit from Downs. But I mean, it's one of those guys. It's Pierce, it's Downs. If it's not Pittman going down the field, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, good for you, man. I know you got to make moves, and I know you're fighting to stay involved in the Honey Pot League. I just keep trying to collect wins and moving towards it. I think in waiver wire additions right now, as we talk about it, I think you shouldn't just be really looking at players and positions that I think you should be looking at defenses down the road. You should be getting ready for your playoff run, depending on where you are with your seeding, and you should be getting ready to look at those bye weeks on the weeks, 12 through 14, making sure that you could sneak a win or take advantage of some other people that might be
No,
desperate
yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
in the playoffs. Because there is a bye week on the last week of the season, which is crazy because people are going to need to win to get in. So you don't want to be that guy who has bye weeks in 14. You need a win to get in, and you're sitting on the wrong side.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I think, is one of those guys by week 14. Yeah, I mean, your fantasy team is loaded. You put up 160 points, I think, right? And that was
Without
Dak putting
Drake
up
May,
8.
I had Dak in the lineup.
Yeah. But Jonathan Taylor is just, I mean, he's probably the leader in the MVP votes. He's your horse. And Chase Brown looks like he's finally starting to figure it out. I know that we
Higgins
got
is
to kind of
back.
be a little, I know we got to be a little quicker today. I mean, there's some of these games that are pointless to talk about. Bucks went into New Orleans and took care of business. Colts
Can we talk
owned
about
the
the Bucks
Titans.
D
We
though?
knew
The
that.
Bucks D is real, right? I mean,
I
they
mean, I
just
don't know.
keep
Yeah,
making
I think
positions no matter what. Like, no matter how bad they get beat, they've only had a couple losses. Even in those losses, they're still getting turnovers, sacks, fumbles, picks. Like, the Bucks D is nasty.
yeah, they looked good against Detroit. They did look good against Detroit. The Saints offense is horrible, and
Yeah, they're bad.
I think that I mean the Saints moved the ball on the Giants, but yeah, but the Bucks defense is good, and I think that the Bucks just don't look sexy right now, just the way it looks. But as they come together and get healthy, and if Mike Evans actually does come back for like a week 16, week 17, kind of get him going for the playoffs, there's no doubt that the Bucks could be. If it's Bucks,
Get a nice
I wouldn't be
little
surprised
bye
if Bucks Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they get a nice bye this week. I'll get a Mika Igbokwe back nice and healthy whenever that happens. So that'll be nice. We already
How about
talked
your
about Titans.
Cowboys? Yeah, how
Oh,
about your
bro.
Cowboys getting destroyed by the Broncos?
Yeah,
Man,
so
that was
let's talk
ugly.
about it, man. Obviously, it's a big deal. So the Cowboys go into a Denver team who barely squeaks one out. And like you said, how did the Cowboys not be able to do anything when Jackson Dart and the Giants were lighting them up? And I thought
Yeah.
there was a couple of crucial plays, and there was a couple of drops that really cost us. And then,
Yeah.
a couple of bad reads. Dak just throws a couple of interceptions trying to fit the ball in. Couldn't really get the ball going on the ground. But the thing is, the game was actually rather close going into the second half. And then the Cowboys just couldn't stop them at all. Troy
Yeah,
Franklin was going. RG
your
Hardy
defense
was
got
doing his thing.
exposed.
Evan Ingram's making appearances. You got, Bo Nix, Bo leaving in himself. He's just doing his thing. Obviously, we knew going into this game that you wanted every piece of Denver offense going against the Cowboys. And
Yeah.
it proved true. I thought everybody who went against us, it was a fantasy winner. They were all studs this week. And I think we know what we're getting with Dallas. We're going to struggle against elite defenses. We're going to
Yep.
beat bad teams, and we're going to
Yeah.
have this stretch of our schedule. If you look, we play something like the Chiefs, Lions, and Eagles, I think 3 weeks in a row or something like that. It's going to be a real big telltale for us. But I think we're a team that's going to be one game over 500 because we got this tie, or we're going to be even. We're going to be in the playoffs looking 8-8-1. You know what I mean? It's going to be a number that's going to be like that if we're going to make it. We have a great offense, and we can spoil anything, but we're going to have to make timely defensive plays, and you know exactly what we're getting. Start everybody against Dallas all year, 100%.
Yes.
You're going
You
to
wanna play
fade
against
them on the
Dallas.
road, right? You're going to fade them on the road. And we don't have the easiest schedule coming up, so there are some tough games. But you're definitely going to fade us a little bit on the road, and you're going to have to rely on Dak's arm and garbage time throughout the duration of the season. Now, personally, I have a decision to make because this next week Dallas is home against Arizona, and then I also have Drake May home against the Falcons. So it's like Drake May has kind of taken this step forward, and Dallas isn't taking a step back. They're an elite defense, but Arizona isn't the easiest team, and I could see Dallas winning the game. I don't know if they need Dak. I could see us kind of getting our run game right. And Drake May has been on this hotness. He's only had one game against Buffalo where he didn't throw any touchdowns. Other than that, he only has one game with one touchdown. Every other game is either 2 or 3 touchdowns. And I believe out of his last 4 games, he has 3 touchdowns in his 4 games.
So let's look at
he's heating right now.
Yeah, we pretty much talked all about all the games. I feel like we're not beating the dead horse, but like the Steelers choked against Green Bay. Green Bay was far superior, the better team. You felt like as the game kept going on and on. Steelers jumped on them a little bit early, but the Steelers are kind of just missing something. I think Aaron Rodgers looks good, but I just think Tom Brady did something really different when he went to the Bucs and won a Super Bowl right away. It just takes chemistry. It takes years. I don't care how old you are.
You're talking like the old team player, right? And that's what people still don't understand. Like Tom Brady was always a team guy, taking the friendly contracts and saving money and getting people to sign around him. And then you go in there and he has this amazing attitude that everybody knows that's already around the league. He's got this prestigious arm, and he literally went into the perfect situation, but he's like such a team guy. Can you imagine all those times that people were telling him what he was doing wrong? And he was probably like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, all right, okay, all right. You have to not just be a team player. You got to be humble. And I feel there's just not enough of those guys that are willing to take less, that are willing to admit when they're wrong, that can work on themselves, do the shadow work, continue to grind and understand that it's not a week 1 Super Bowl, that you got to get to somewhere along the way.
But I think Rodgers has been pretty humble. I don't know. The Steelers they're not there. You thought that Rodgers would have to manage games, and if he had to go get you a drive or 2, he could, like late. Now they're putting Rodgers, they're putting all the load on Rodgers' back and be like, hey, you got to carry us to the playoffs. He's like, whoa, what the fuck? I didn't sign up for this.
TJ Watt signed up is he just getting double teamed and they just can't do anything?
I don't know. Myles Garrett gets double teamed, gets 5 sacks.
No, Myles Garrett had 5 sacks. He ate them up. They got their ass whooped, and he destroyed their number 1 guard, whoever it was. I know Javi was talking about it. Unbelievable, dude. There's no
really
question.
quick, go through the standings with me, right? I'm looking at the NFC. 7 teams make it, right? Top 1 gets a bye. You have the 4 division winners: Philly, Green Bay, Tampa, and Seattle. Just say for hypothetical, right? Philly, Green Bay, Tampa, Seattle. That leaves 3 teams to make the playoffs. Lions are definitely one of those teams.
Rams are definitely one of those teams.
Rams are definitely one of those teams. So now it's between you and San Francisco.
And we all know how that goes. And this is a year that San Francisco and Dallas, I would love to see us. I'm on record. I don't want to even make a run if we can't go through San Fran and Green Bay. I want to right the wrongs of the past. I want a clear path going forward. I want San Francisco. I want to play them, and that would be amazing. I don't know if we actually do play any. Look at the schedule.
But you see what I'm saying here, though.
I know exactly.
It's almost like,
and I think that
the
San
NFC
Francisco
playoffs
has an easier schedule than us. So if it's going to be between the two, they're the ones that are going to get in. It's not us.
It's almost like the NFC playoffs is already set. Not the rank, not the seedings, but the 7, right?
Yeah, I get that.
We can all agree nobody is coming out of the NFC South except for the Bucs. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, we agree.
Let's just say only one is coming out of the NFC East.
Yeah, it would have to be Philly, and that would be it. It's unless Dallas can win.
Dallas would have to get real hot.
Yeah, we have to win some crucial games.
Green Bay and Detroit are 100% making the playoffs, right?
They're 100% in the playoffs.
Seattle and the
Rams. It's the Niners, dude. It's the Niners or the Cowboys. And if you're going to take any other team, maybe Chicago, because they got 4 wins. Chicago actually has a shot to be fighting for it. I'm just saying the Cowboys, we have the tie against the Packers, but we only got 3 wins. You have the Panthers with 4 wins. I'm not saying they're going to make it. You got Chicago with 4 wins, and then those are the only other
Chicago
4-win
actually
teams.
has you guys over the tiebreaker too, right?
Yeah,
so
they,
if you and
they have us
Chicago
over the tiebreaker, and those are the only other 4-win teams. And we're
so let's try not to be as arrogant, right? So we'll say, I think the 6 are definitely in, the 6 that we named.
Yeah, 6.
The one spot
to lose
is going to be San Fran, Chicago,
or Dallas.
and Dallas.
Yeah, for the last spot.
Maybe Minnesota, but I doubt McCarthy can get him.
I don't think McCarthy's going to be that dude for him.
So, okay, now let's just do the AFC. I know we got to get going. AFC, we could all agree New England and Buffalo are in, right?
In.
AFC North, we won't even talk about right now.
No, they're
AFC
a fucking
West,
shit show, and we're giving the Ravens that division.
Okay, so hear me out here. New England, Buffalo, Denver, Chargers, Chiefs are all in, right?
New England, Buffalo, Denver, Chargers, Chiefs. We didn't even mention Indy.
Well, yeah, so I'm just saying that's the 5.
No, yeah,
now,
right.
With the AFC North and AFC South, you can only take the league winner from those 2.
Yeah, that's it. And it looks like the 3 teams, like how in the NFC they'd be coming out of the West, looks like in the AFC they're also going to be coming out of the West.
Now, if you want to say maybe the Chargers don't make it,
okay,
we have to say the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going, right?
Chiefs are going.
So if you take away the Chargers, then it could be the Colts and maybe the Jacksonville or maybe the Texans.
Jacksonville or Houston. I think Houston, I'll say it right now, I'm liking the way Houston's looking over Jacksonville.
I know.
I mean, just out of playing recent ball, the reason why is because we love Houston's defense, and that's something that they were going to hang their hat on from day one. Jacksonville does not.
And now Jacksonville does not have that defense, and now you're starting to look at it. If Mixon might be coming back, who knows? I doubt it. But then you also see all the weapons.
Woody Marks is finding
right?
that, bro. Woody Marks has already shown pop.
Yep.
Woody Marks is going to be that dude.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that the playoffs are kind of already – I mean, we know most of the teams that are in the AFC North.
Yeah, in the NFC, there's only one spot I feel that anyone's playing for. And in the AFC, maybe there's 2, right? And one of those is still the AFC North division winner, right? Like, that's really what it comes down to.
And listen to this. Pittsburgh is at home versus the Colts this week. So if Pittsburgh loses that game, which that would be a big win for the Colts. I think Pittsburgh might be able to win that game. But if they end up losing that game, that's going to be crazy. They're going to be 4-4. They dropped 3 straight, and I think they dropped 3 straight, right? Yep.
So the Colts are 5-0 at home. Denver also 5-0 at home. Just so we're looking at this, Green Bay is undefeated at home. Detroit is undefeated at home. Those are the only 4 teams that haven't lost at home. Well, I guess Dallas is 2-0-1. We haven't lost at home either.
It's kind of interesting to see that. It's interesting to see that.
Oh no, never mind. We're 2-0.
NFL playoff.
Yeah,
the NFL playoffs have kind of
already shaking out at week 9, dude. It's been a crazy year, man. But like the teams, I mean, and with a league of parity, there's still going to be some surprises, right? And I think we kind of got it picked out. It's going to be between Chicago, San Francisco, Dallas. It's going to be the Chargers. It's going to, these are the teams that are going to have to go out and do some things, mix it up. Pittsburgh is one of those teams. This is all eyes on Pitt this week, man. Going against the Colts.
Yeah.
This is a huge game for them, especially the way they just lost to the Packers. If the Colts mop them up, sweep them up, and make it look kind of easy, they are in way more trouble than what we thought. But if they come out and they show some fortitude and they win against a Colts team who's a little bit soft, they play inside. I'm not saying they're soft, but they play indoors, right? They're a team, Lucas Oil, they're undefeated at home, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, this is a game that Pittsburgh has to step up. If Pittsburgh wins that game, it has to be Warren. It has to be Gainwell. It has to be on the ground. You got to run all over them and then have Aaron Rodgers throw for 202 or 3 touchdowns. Like, it shouldn't be.
Colts are just so explosive right now, and it's just I don't see them losing.
I don't see
really
the Steelers defense stopping them.
I don't see the Steelers defense stopping them. And if the Colts get home field advantage, they are the clear-cut favorite to go to the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, man. Fantasy studs and duds. Anyone that you want to talk about that you just absolutely in love with or absolutely disappointed with?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor went crazy. Saquon Barkley, crazy. Tucker Kraft, crazy. I think that Gadsden looks like he's going to be a top 5 tight end moving forward.
Unbelievable.
It was Tua.
Was
you got to at least give at least respect him a little bit, right? He could have just crawled into a hole and been horrible, but he
especially
because
this is his last starting quarterback job. Everyone's saying, right?
Yeah. I don't think that teams are going to be knocking on the door to go get him. Javonte Williams keeps on putting up top 5 stats as a running back. I never saw that coming.
That guy's got to be one of the best values of the entire draft, dude, for what he's done.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's
what about Travis Kelce? Travis Kelce, that Chiefs
did you see that play when he
good,
leaked
man.
out? It was so sick, bro. Mahomes is sitting there in the pocket. He's got all the time in the world, whatever. And everyone's covered. It's just perfect. And Kelce's there, giving him extra protection. He sees everyone's covered. He looks back and Mahomes is still back there. So he leaks out. He hits him and he runs, 47 yards.
Oh, yeah. That was
on that play.
Yeah,
you saw him hit top speed, and I kind of felt he got a little turf monster. He fooled himself a little bit. He might have should have made it in, honestly. But it was just one of those moments that Kelce was just and then he just leaked out, got the touchdown, of course.
Yeah.
They haven't really been relying on that little tandem, and the fact that it's still going to be there. And now you have all these other threats downfield. I feel that's what we kind of saw in that play was indicative of is everyone's going to be looking at Worthy, Rice. You got these receivers you have to keep your eyes on now. It's not just Kelce. And this might be a big second half by Kelce. And he might have a real big run for the Chiefs because they're going to be Kareem Hunt. Pacheco's obviously trying to figure it out. Kareem Hunt's still getting goal line work. And then you're going to have these receivers. And then here comes Kelce right up the middle, and he's going to be untouchable.
It's also crazy, too, because I think he tied or passed, whatever. But
he passed, yeah.
Tony Gonzalez, Priest Holmes, and Kelce, right? Rob, yeah. I don't know. I know you say that you take Buffalo and Kansas City over the Colts without hesitation. I don't feel that way. I think in the playoffs, if it's in Indianapolis, I don't know if the Colts are so balanced. They can
Buffalo
run.
Is a little Jekyll and Hyde too, man. You can't just give it to Buffalo.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I can see them beating Indianapolis, but I am not saying that in Indy in a playoff game that I'm just going to be because Chiefs and Bills have been there before. They're going to do it again. Colts
can you imagine
have weapons everywhere.
Can you imagine if it's a throwback and it goes New England to Lucas Oil for the AFC Championship, but there's no more Manning and no more Brady? And it's Daniel Jones versus Drake May. That's so crazy because that was one of the rivalries of the 2000s, man. Patriots and Colts, and they're both looking like they're right back in there again, right?
But it's like what Johnny T said earlier, and as a Giant fan, it does hurt, right? Saquon Barkley takes the team to the Super Bowl. Now, if Daniel Jones takes his team to the Super Bowl, we had them both.
Yeah,
and we let him go. They didn't. We kicked them out the door.
You were see you later. All right, man.
Guys.
Well, thanks for watching and tuning in. Like and subscribe. Trying to sit there and get to that 1,000 subscriber hump. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back for the Thursday, or no, maybe this Thursday. We're not doing it because we got a meeting or something. Either way, we'll let you know.
We're doing this Thursday. I think we're doing this Thursday.
Okay, we're on this Thursday. We're back this Thursday. We're doing the preview. We'll be talking Survivors Week 9. You hear us already talking shit. We got most of the teams figured out, at least we think, and we'll be going through injuries and breakouts and performances, man. Appreciate y'all. Prop Stars out. One love.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
Peace.